Hello, welcome to lesson 8. So, here we are going to look at Bistra, and as you know, we are using Bistra to confirm the validity of an engulfing. So, if you've been following the lesson, we've done lesson 1 up to 5 or 6, where we talked about the engulfing, Malaysian engulfing strategy. And then we are adding Bistra so that when you can wait for validation, you can use Bistra to get specific zones where there's going to be a high probability of reversal to execute your trade. All right, so let's go. Okay, so I'm still on Mint Nova. All right, Mint Nova. Okay, all right, so we are doing QM. Okay, so QMR means Quasimodo reversal. Quasimodo reversal. Okay, so what do you need? The requirement is just a higher time frame engulfing. That's the basic requirement. So, what is a Quasimodo pattern? It is just a pattern, okay, where the market creates. So the market creates a high, it creates a low, goes above the previous high, and then comes below the previous low. Okay, so some of you call it change of character. Some of you call it breaking market structure. Some of you call it shifting market structure. Okay, so that's a Quasimodo pattern. So when this happens, you want to be looking for a sell around the left shoulder. Okay, so this is the left shoulder. This is the head. Okay, and this is the head, the left shoulder. So you want to take trade around on the right shoulder, okay, using the left. Okay, so when price is forming the right shoulder, use the left and then use execute a sell. So that's the Quasimodo. What is the idea behind it? That when the market is moving to the top, it creates series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so this low is higher than this previous low. All right. So logically, when the market is going up, it is hard, very difficult for it to come back and break this low. So once it does it, okay, it gives us a sign that the market is about to continue going down. Okay, as simple as that. All right. So the requirement is that if you want a proper Quasimodo, because the market can do this, okay, and still do this and go up, failed Quasimodo, right? If you want a proper Quasimodo, then it should have a higher time frame engulfing. So you see the pattern, then you change to a higher time frame, and you have to see an engulfing. That is your validation. And since we are already using an engulfing, you already know how to use an engulfing. What you are trying to do now is that when you find our engulfing, okay, when you find our engulfing, instead of us to wait for price to come in, let's say this is a H4, instead of us to wait for price to come in the H4 and create an M30, okay, like this, before we execute on the M30, we can look to see if there's going to be if there's a QM pattern in the M30. Then it tells us that the price is likely to end up here. So we execute directly from here. All right. So your first confirmation or validation is a higher time frame engulfing. So here we have a pattern. So you have a high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. See, lower low. Or you can select this high, low, higher high, and lower low. Okay, so we have a break of structure. The QM level is this. Okay, so now to validate this level, you wait for price to come here, right? But you need to confirm if this level has an engulfing. So you see, it has an engulfing. You have a daily engulfing here. Okay, so this is the validation that this QM that we saw here on the lower time frame is a proper one. Okay, all right. So this we have another one. Okay, you said we are looking for a base. A base can be you're looking at a rally, base rally. I think we did that in the other video, right? Or a drop base drop, okay? Or a kissing candle, sometimes called a gap. So here we have a bearish candle and another bearish candle, okay? So that gap between them, this level is called the kissing candle or a gap, okay? So the second validation is that now that he has, if it gives you an engulfing, that is enough. But when it gives you an engulfing and another thing, that is a gap right opposite the level. Can you see here? You have the level high, low, higher high, lower low. Okay, and price is coming back. Right opposite the left shoulder, there is a gap, something like this. Okay, it's right opposite it. This validates the zone. Okay, it validates the zone. Okay, so that's a second confirmation. So it is a higher time frame engulfing. Okay, it has a it has a gap opposite it, and that gap on another time frame is a drop base drop. So you see how price came to just tap into the zone, right, and then came to clear all this liquidity, then do something like this, went up. Okay, so that is the second validation. Let me see if it's finished. Okay, so let's look at some example. Okay, so here we have a QM. When I change to a line chart, you have a high, a low, a higher, higher, lower, low. Can you see? You have a drop, a base drop opposite it. Clean. Okay, so you see, and it is an engulfing. So you mark this engulfing, price is approaching, and you see this pattern inside the engulfing. Okay, this is a daily engulfing. You see this pattern inside the engulfing, then it means that price will just tap into it and then fall. Okay. Okay, so you see, that's it. A high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. What do you have? Drop, base, drop. That base opposite it. Your entry point. Boom. Okay. Okay. All right. So you see, is it just the base? No, it is also a higher time frame engulfing, a higher time frame engulfing. And you see where we've drawn the line, it's just passing through. Okay, and there's a drop base drop opposite it. All right. So you see this, a high, a low, a higher high, a lower low. Okay, there was no base. Okay, but there was no base. Was it an engulfing? It's a higher time frame engulfing. There was no kissing candle or a gap. Higher time frame engulfing. Price comes, taps into it, and drops. I think that's the final one. All right, so let me show you something that happened today. Oh, okay. All right, so Mint Nova. Watch. Okay, here we have an engulfing. Normally, we are supposed to wait for price to come into this engulfing zone, 4 hour engulfing zone, create a 30-minute engulfing before we start looking for trade. But it doesn't happen every day. Sometimes it comes and then boom, it just goes. Okay, so looking at this, we can try to find something in it. So when you go to a lower time frame, which is a 1 hour, you see you have a low, high, a lower low, and a higher high. Okay, so you have something like this. QM is formed. That QM, okay, that QM, it wasn't just formed. Okay, it has a higher time frame confirmation, which is what? The engulfing, right? On a 1 hour, it is a QM level. So now this is a QM level. So QM level. QM level. Boom. Missed by a bit. Okay. So now we have a QM level. What is opposite a QM level? Look at it. Rally and a hidden base. Can you see? A hidden base, a kissing candle, a gap. It is there. Okay. Then you go to a lower time frame again. Let's say 30 minutes. And that is a base. So we have a rally base rally. Look at it. A base. Okay. So that is your entry point. So you see, price taps into it and boom, up. Okay. I think recently I encountered one on BTC long ago. Let me see if I'll see BTC USD. Today I've spent a lot of time on this topic. Okay. BTC daily or 1 hour. Will I see? Will I see it? Will I see it? Okay, somewhere around here. It was NFP. Okay. So you see, we have a low, a high, a lower low, and a higher high. QM. What is it on the higher time frame? Where is it? Okay. We're not seeing an engulfing, so it's a 4 hour engulfing, I think. Okay, so we have a 4 hour engulfing. We have a 4 hour engulfing here, right? We go to 1 hour, 1 hour, and you have that gap opposite it. So you see, we have that gap, kissing candle opposite it, right here. Okay, now that we have a kissing candle, what is opposite? It's a QM. We have a QM here. We have a QM here, and opposite it we have this. So we need to confirm on a lower time frame. What do you have? 30 minutes has what? A rally base rally. So this is your entry point. Easy, but there is a secret. Okay, you are not just looking for this. You are looking for a breakout first. Okay, there should be a breakout to give you the understanding that the market is going up. Okay, it gives you the understanding that the market is going up. Okay, the one we saw on Euro USD. Okay, it's very beautiful. Look at it. I think 1 hour. Right, yes, it was this one, 1 hour. Boom. Okay, the level. All right, so we end here. Bye bye.